Top 10 silly Jewish traditions. Sometimes they are called Israelite. This is a special report for the Israelites who tend to look like Jewish people. If you are the authentic Jews and if you are the authentic Israelites, you shouldn't be following the fake Jews on your traditions because when you follow them, you're going to look as silly as them. This is a quick review of the 10 most silliest Jewish traditions. Silly Israel lie tradition number 1. Leviticus 12:3 does state that the son needs to be circumcised on the 8th day. But what is this sodomite doing kissing the penis of a little baby? Where is that in the scripture? Silly Israelite tradition number 2. Ever notice that the fake Jewish people have 9 candlestick menorahs? Well, in Numbers chapter 8, verse 3, it speaks of 7 lamps, not 9. It seems like it's Hanukkah for them all the time. If this is actually a Hanukkah lamp, why do they always specifically use this when the scripture speaks of 7?
At this point in history, someone familiar only with biblical Hebrew would not be able to communicate very well with contemporary native speakers. At the same time, a modern Hebrew speaker cannot easily read the Bible.
Silly Israelite tradition number 3. They speak Yiddish, not Hebrew. The sound of their letters has nothing to do with Paleo-Biblical Hebrew. Most people know that the bet is in biblical Hebrew only has the ba sound, but in Yiddish it's ba and usually it has a va sound. The vav letter is actually the u. It has a u sound, but they say it has a va and u sound. Sometimes you'll see it with a wa and it's wrong. It has a u sound like Yahuda, and there's no J in Hebrew. And then we have they calling it a kaf, but there's no F sound in Hebrew. The pei is only a P sound in biblical Hebrew, no F. And the ayin, they actually don't know what that sound is. Usually they will put no sound in this. I found online they gave it an O or a Y sound. They don't know what it sounds like. I believe that the ayin has an I sound. So if you're going to learn Yiddish, you should know you're not learning Hebrew. Silly Israelite tradition number 4. Why do these fake Jews have curls on the side of their head? I'm sure many of you guys have been wondering this. While Leviticus 19:27, the Most High commanded the Israelite men not to mar the corners of their head or the beards. So when these fake Jews interpret this scripture, they think they're supposed to have 2 silly curls on the side of their head. They look absurd. I mean, look at this. What if you guys follow them doing this? This is what you look like. Silly Israelites. Silly Israelite number 5. Why do they wear a box on their head? They seem to have this ritual where they put a box, they tie it on their head, and I'm sure many of you wondered why they did this. Well, this goes to another scripture in Deuteronomy chapter 6 where they don't understand scriptures. Yah commanded the Israelites to teach the children, their children, the scriptures, the Torah laws. And he said to bind it for a sign on the frontlet, basically to be a frontlet for their eyes. Basically your brain, your mind is between your eyes. So when the Most High said to teach your children, he meant to put it in their heads, not to put a box on your head. But this is what you do when you're not really an Israelite, because this box looks very similar to worshiping a cube. Interesting. Silly Israelite tradition number 6. They also tie a band on their arm too. It's quite weird. They do this because of Deuteronomy 6 and verse 8. Because the Most High said to bind it on your hands. But he was talking about the law. So do they really believe that they bind this on their hand, they're going to somehow have the laws in their hand? I mean, when the Most High said to bind it on your hands, he literally means whatever your hands touch, make sure it's done, keeping the laws. That's what's the interpretation. It's just a figure of speech. So, if the commandment is in your hand does work. Don't let the work be evil, basically. But tying this around your arms, I mean, it's just silly. What if you guys follow them doing this? I mean, we can't let them interpret the scriptures for us, but this is what they do because they are Israelites. Silly Israelite number 7. Fashion recommendations by fake Jews. And to secure it, they're recommending that you use a clip. How silly do these fake Jews look? I hope Israelites aren't doing this because this is just really silly. I mean, even the Pope is looking quite retarded. Oh no, there are people actually doing this. These are actual real Israelites who convert to being a fake Jew and they end up following their silly traditions. I'm not saying Israelites shouldn't wear a cap on their head, but do not follow their traditions and their customs. I mean, wear the cap properly. Don't follow them. Why should you want to look like them? They don't know what they're doing. They don't understand scriptures and they don't bring style to keeping the Most High's commandments. This is just silly. Israel is like the gay capital of the world. They got rainbows, a rainbow cap. Silly Israelite tradition number 8. Well, it looks like the fake Jews also believe women should cover their heads. And they're very serious about this. So much that they think it's okay for them to wear wigs because the wig can serve as a hair cover. Basically, they recommend that the females, after they get married, of course, hide their hair and only their husband could see their real hair. And they don't have to use hair covers. No. They can grab one of these wigs, any color, any style. You can look like a different woman. And this is proper for them. Silly Israelite tradition number 8. Ancient Israelites look like this. They wore their tzitzits on the hem of their garments. Like this. And like this. If they're trying to be us, they're not really doing a great job. Because if you're going to copy something, you should, reference the original ancient Hebrew Israelites and then maybe try to, look like them. But, it's kind of good because this way they can be distinguished from the real Israelites. This brings me to silly Israelite tradition number 9. The fake Jews, they like to wear 4-corner tassels. This because they misinterpret the scriptures. They think this is the righteous. And the tzitzits that they have, they're not even permanent. And it makes me think of it like they're not really following the Most High's commandments. So they don't have enough tzitzits on their clothes. Because they don't know the scriptures and they're trying to be us. The Israelites wore tzitzits on the hem of their garment. And the word kanap actually means wing, literally means wing. Okay, and the wing of the bird is the extremity. So the word kanap, it's been translated in so many places in the scripture as end, hem, extremity. So it basically just means the far end. And so when the scripture says 4-corner, these fake Jews, they think, okay, I gotta put these tzitzits on the corner. They literally think it's the corner, but it's the hem. Because they don't understand scripture. And so that's why they end up not looking like the ancient Israelites. And they treat these tzitzits like an idol. They put these tzitzits on everything. And the tzitzits, they don't even hang on. They're always falling off. If you follow them, you probably know you get a pin and you put it on the corner of your garment. And then it's constantly falling off. And it doesn't even look. Silly Israelite tradition number 10. This is their tzitzit that they make. And they tell you that you have to do 2 knots, 7 wind-ins, 2 knots, 8 wind-ins. They give you this and they explain that it's to represent the 613 laws in the Torah. But who's to say that there's 613 law? Because one of them counted it and now we're supposed to believe that there's 613 laws. The scriptures don't say that we have to tie our fringes like this, but a fringe is a knot. So while this tzitzit is correct, they only have 4. We're supposed to have fringes throughout the hem of our garment, so this is incorrect. We shouldn't follow them. Also, the ribbon is supposed to be on top of the fringe. And if you follow them, you're going to use blue, which is wrong color. It's violet. The concordance says it's violet. The history says it's violet. I have videos proving this. Check out HebrewGarments.com to find out more information. But this is a silly tradition. You don't have to follow them. This is not our